Keep the candles lit, everyone. Let's get into it. Here she is, Kat Von D. All right, here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk. A great guest today. Long time been trying to get you, Kat Von D. How are you?
Hey.
I love this place.
Oh, thanks. This is your first time coming over here. I've known you for how long now?
Here's how I'll tell you how long I know you, and you tell me. You were dating the guy, Roy Orbison's son?
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah.
So how long's that?
So that I've known you since before I was sober then.
Oh yeah, because I remember coming to the tattoo shop late at night.
Yeah,
and it'd be like drinking fest.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep, the old days. I'm sober now. I'll have like the big 10 years sober anniversary in July, which is kind of crazy.
Wow, 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't drank since 92.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, pretty
so
crazy,
cool.
right?
Yeah. See, you were sober back then too. Awesome.
Yeah, well, one day I was just like, I kind of got to get it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, I like would just do Coke to keep drinking.
Yeah, me too. That's how I got introduced to Coke, actually. It wasn't about getting high. It was like, I just want to keep the party going. And then, it's just a downward spiral from there. But
yeah,
good thing for me, I'm like a quick learner. So my addiction escalated really quickly, and so I did like a 3-month binge of Coke and, snorting like an 8-ball a day or something.
Wow.
And then called it quits, obviously.
What was the rock bottom? Did you have a rock bottom?
Yeah, when I first I started tattooing when I was 14 years old, and I remember the first time I did a tattoo, it was like, this is what I'm designed to do. I was meant to do this, and
Right.
I really looked at tattooing as this gift, not saying I was gifted, meaning like,
Your calling.
Well, just something like, I felt really lucky, and I wanted to protect it in whichever way possible. And so I had made a promise to myself at the age of 14 that I would never, ever let anything get in the way of becoming the best tattooer that I could possibly be,
Yep.
And I really did apply that. There's relationships that ended because I would put tattooing before anything else, and so then I think when I started drinking a lot and doing a lot of drugs, or doing a little bit of drugs, I noticed that it was not affecting my tattooing, but affecting my ability to show up.
Right.
And that's when I was like, I took a hard look and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And I need to choose between the two. And so and it was crazy because a lot of people go to AA, a lot of people, they require, people get sober in all different ways. For me, I just like made up my mind and just stopped.
Same with, I got diabetes last year.
Oh, yeah?
And they said, you got diabetes, and boom, never touched anything ever again. Because
Yeah.
anything that gets in the way, like
Yeah.
I'm a stand-up comedian, if I can't do comedy,
Yeah.
I'm fucking done depressed-wise,
Sure.
I might as well be dead.
And I think, too, it's not to say that it was easy, because I think it was simple.
Yeah.
The decision was simple, but the first year sucked big time. I looking at my life through sober eyes, I realized a lot of the people I was hanging out with weren't really my friends. I was more of a party favorite. Because I was fun. I was fucking way
Oh yeah,
fun.
you're probably buying, right?
Yeah.
I was
had
over
great
there,
times.
and it seemed like there's like 10 guys just hanging around. Like, yeah, there's gonna be booze and coke.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah. But I think you filter out these people that you thought you were your friends, and and then you make space for other things in life. And so it does take a minute. I have yet to find a lot of people like that. Most people, I think, really benefit from like a 12-step or whatever.
Right.
People do it differently. I just don't want people to think like, oh yeah, dude, it's fucking easy, just stop. Like,
oh yeah,
it can be really tough, man. The withdrawal sucked. I've never been as depressed as I was when I quit doing coke, and I'm already a depressed kind of person to begin with, so I have depressed tendencies. So yeah, it was tough, but it was simple. It's like the decision was simple.
Yeah, the decision is simple, and then the physical stuff and the mental stuff is hard. Like, to me, quitting sugar was fucking unbelievable.
Well, and sugar is even harder because
way harder.
Because I think it's the accessibility, and it's also in everything. It's in fucking ketchup, Yeah,
the worst thing about it is, too, like you were doing coke, like at some age, I don't know what you started, but you weren't doing coke from 1 year old on,
No,
which is
no,
sugar.
yeah. And-
Everything, when you're a kid, candy,
Yeah.
Sodas, cereal.
They put that shit in fucking baby formula now too, which is
It's fucking
gnarly.
crazy, right?
Yeah, it's poison, but
So
I
that-
think more people are learning and stuff.
Yeah, like 49 years of sugar. And
Yeah.
then one day, I got to stop. And, I quit booze, coke, cigarettes, everything.
Yeah.
And this fucking tops them
Yeah.
all. Night
Dude, you look
sweats.
fucking rad. I mean, you look hot.
Lost 36
Yeah.
pounds.
The last time, I mean, we ran into each other the other day, of course, like at the restaurant. I hadn't seen you in years,
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I mean, I instantly recognized your voice.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it took me a second. Like, holy shit, it's Dean. Awesome.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, good
it's
job.
so weird. And now I get addicted, as fucking corny as it sounds, to the people that say, man, you look great.
Yeah.
That feels good.
Yeah.
And then it drives me not to even. People go, you got any cheat days? No, never.
No,
Never.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know? That'd be like cheating on drugs. You know what I mean?
I can't.
You just lock it
I
out.
mean, I admire the people that can, like, I'm not one of those people that's like, I can't be around, drinking. Like, I'll take my friends, I'll buy them drinks if they want, and I'll be their designated driver.
Absolutely.
But I just know, like, I'm an extremist, man. I have tattoos on my face. Like, I can't
Yeah.
just have one,
Yeah, I'm
I
the
don't-
same way.
People are like, why can't you just chill and have like one shot? And I'm like, I don't know what that even means. That's not. That's just not possible.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I just enjoy, to me, partying, and probably to you too. It's so rock and roll. That's what it is. It's almost like I really worship that weird Bukowski. Fuck the world, the normalcy of it. I'm just gonna cruise in a complete different state.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I can see that. I feel like rock and roll doesn't have to be about that. I mean,
I'm saying
yeah,
it first.
Yeah, the
you know
vibe
what I
or
mean.
whatever.
Of course.
But to me, it's like I've always been attracted to like self-destruction in a lot
Yeah.
of ways, and more so than just being destructive outwardly. So I get that. I feel like the best lyrics come from struggle. The most enlightened people come from that character building that comes from suffering and all
Yeah.
that. So it
Pretty
makes
wild.
sense.
You
So hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you guys usually talk about on your podcast?
just anything.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely. Drugs.
You sure this isn't boring?
No, fuck no. Are you kidding me? You know what's boring? Tell me about the first tattoo you did.
yeah.
Hey, do you use this?
Yeah.
Do you use a shader?
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
9? I mean, to me, it's like, I think you're an interesting woman. Always. Like, you're so outside of the Hollywood box. It's great to see that. You know what I
Thanks.
mean? So it's interesting, like your place here. I look at it and go, wow, gets it.
Yeah.
Like you're moving, and I'm like, oh, I could just move in here and just. I remember your other place, the Frankenstein Castle.
Yeah.
Fucking
That was such
awesome.
I love that little.
That
house.
place burned down, right?
Yeah.
What's with you and fires?
I don't know, dude. Like when my house burned down, and I lose track of time. So sorry, but I know it was like, I don't know. It was a long time ago, maybe over 6 or 7, maybe 8 years. I don't know, and which was crazy, because I like lost everything, my cat, everything,
Ugh.
I mean, just up in flames, and the place was destroyed, and it was an electrical fire that happened. I was on tour, so I wasn't even home.
Right.
And,
They were trying to say that you had something to do with it, right?
I think people, maybe the media, wants
Oh,
to
yeah.
find juicy stories and stuff, and but whatever. No, I don't. That stuff doesn't bother me. But yeah, no. That house was so beautiful. I'm so sad it burned down at all, really. But
It was incredible. Now
Yeah.
they filmed the Frankenstein in there. Is
the
that
original 1931, I think 31, either 30 or 31 film, the Frankenstein was. Parts were filmed there, and it was called Frankenstein's Castle. The people that originally built it were the people that imported ethnic music into the movie industry back in the day.
Right.
And so they had a recording studio downstairs, which was like one of the reasons I loved that house. Is like, oh, that's so cool. And I was just in the middle of redoing the entire recording studio, and I think that. We believe, because the people said it was inconclusive. They couldn't figure out where it was, just so badly burned that we couldn't figure out like where it started.
Wow.
And we know kind of like the vicinity, but we don't know what happened. And we all assume it's a electrical fire,
Right.
But anyhow, so that happened, and then fast forward to 5 years later, and then my shop burns down.
Unbelievable. Now, how does that happen? I mean, you just look at it, you go, 2 fucking fires.
Dude, when my assistant woke me up that morning, it was like at 5 in the morning, and and he was like, Kat, wake up, your shop just burned. And I was like, you're fucking with me. Like, lightning can't strike twice, you know? And that for sure, it was an electrical fire. That was, you won't believe it, but I had just finished replacing all my lights and light bulbs and stuff with LED lights, you know?
Yeah.
And so in my office, I had these shelves, like bookshelves that I had like oddities and books and stuff on. And so there was lighting on them. And these were just these crappy, like Hampton Bay. They weren't crappy. They were like $30 each, but they were like Hampton Bay LED, like shelving lights I got at Home Depot or something.
Yeah.
And that's what caught fire. And I guess it was a slow burn. So, that's why normally like the, alarm goes off.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was just...
Oh, it's just smoldering?
Yeah, and so then it caught on probably books and just went up. So my office was destroyed, but the rest of the shop was more smoke damaged.
Right.
So then, so that happened.
Was it the shop or the Wonderland shop?
It was just my tattoo shop.
Wow.
Yeah, so all my tattoo machines, all that stuff just gone. And I was like, and I almost felt like I'm so happy that it happened to me because I got so much experience from my house burning down. I'm like, if anybody's equipped for this, it's me,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, my guys handled it a lot harder than I did for sure.
It's so crazy. Like I just watched the Minimalist documentary.
Oh yeah.
And I think about like you. It's just starting over all over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It's all stuff, man. I mean, but there is that sentimental attachment we have to things. I think for my guys, it was more of a symbol of like our sacred home. And to me, I just saw it as a math equation. It's like, 2 + 2 is 4. We have a fire, we have to fix it, and then we'll get the solution. And it'll take some time, but we'll do it, and we'll, try our best to, we'll make it actually better, and whatever. Just no sense in wallowing in that, I guess.
Yeah. How long were you down?
Fuck, man, way too long. My landlords aren't the coolest, and so there's stuff that like they were, like legally bound to do, and so I had to do a lot of waiting for them to do it. I wish I could have just done it myself and then sent them a bill. I would have had that shit done in 3 months, but it took a good 8 months or something. So.
Wow.
But I had my gallery next door, so fortunately we were able to tattoo out of there while we were rebuilding it.
Oh, you still got the gallery?
No, because once the fire happened, I had to kind of shut down operations on that, and it was such a baby business. It was not a good time for that to happen, but it's okay.
Yeah. How did you find that castle? Because, I mean, once you get it's always my dream. Once you get
a castle?
Well, just to get a grip of cash and be like, you call up a guy and go, all right, show me some outside the box fucking architecture. Because I've
got the girl for you.
Really? Well, I don't have any money, but I'm saying I am a fucking freak. I love case study homes.
Yeah.
I love Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
But then I also love Old Spanish of Los Feliz.
Yeah.
And then
I'll tell you right now, I've done like so much research on just castles, really, or odd architecture in Los Angeles, and there's not that many, and we don't live in Europe. In Europe, you got real castles. That castle wasn't a real one. It was just it's called storybook architecture. So there's like the witch's house in Beverly Hills that, if you get a chance to look, I've always wanted that house so badly, but it'll never go on sale. But
I got what's on sale right now? The Godfather house.
Oh,
the
really?
one where the dead horse is in there.
I don't know.
$195 million.
Oh my God.
It's epic.
Yeah.
I mean, they filmed The Jerk in there.
Oh,
they
I
filmed
love The
Godfather.
Jerk.
They filmed My Bodyguard there. It's a famous house, but it is fucking electric, except for it's in Beverly Hills. I would never live over there. You know what I mean? It's so sappy. But East Side has amazing stuff over here, right?
And I don't know. I'm really super particular about the architecture that I like to live in. So, I don't know much about modern architecture or anything. Like, I like more Victorian style or, the weird, like old-timey stuff, which unfortunately here, living on the West Coast, we don't have that shit,
Yeah. Or people fuck it up. They get something like this, and then they come in and they take all the soul out of it.
Yeah,
I remember I went to Stevie Nicks' house in Beechwood, and I was like, this is amazing. They never took out the original tile. There was weird Spanish paintings on the roofs and shit. It was all original.
Yeah.
That shit is epic, man.
Yeah, we should protect that for sure.
I know. People are like, tear this out and put in some Home Depot shit. You're like, get out of your mind. You just ruined this.
Yeah.
So once that castle burns down, and this is the next place you move?
So then I bought. I actually, funny thing is, when I lost everything, I was really happy about it. I wasn't happy that my cat died, or that, it caused a lot of alarm to my neighbors or whatever. Of course, I don't wish that upon anybody. But I think when you lose everything, there's like this really like freeing sense of like letting go of any kind of material. I mean, I literally had nothing. I had like no underwear or anything. I had to go kind of start from scratch. I had a car, and then so I had just opened Wonderland, my gallery at the time, and we had been building out like a dressing room upstairs.
Oh shit!
And
you live there?
Yeah. So I like secretly lived there for a couple months.
Did it have a shower?
No, I had an air mattress and there was a sink downstairs, but my friend lived across the street, and so I would sometimes go there to shower. But I kind of at the time I was on a book tour, so this fan had crocheted me a like little Cthulhu like stuffed animal, and then I had an air mattress and that's it. And and so I kind of was like hesitant to get a new place. Like, the idea of just even looking, just kind of, I don't know, something was freeing about it. But eventually I did. I found this place, and I was dating somebody at the time who had kids. So, this house had a few bedrooms for when the kids would come over. But thankfully that relationship ended, and so
which one was it?
It was one of the shitty ones. But
you cracked me up.
But the cool thing about my dad was going through a divorce at the time, and and it was a rough time for him too. And so I was like, hey Dad, you know what? We just keep making the same mistakes as far as relationships go. How about like this time, instead of going left, let's try going right, even though it's against our own habits. And so I was like, just move in with me and be my roommate. And, I loved living with my dad.
Wow.
And I loved it more than he did. He kind of, he probably hated it. I would hate to live with him.
Was he doing dad shit like, who's coming over to the house tonight?
No, my dad just, I think, felt more like a burden. Like, he's like, I'm in my daughter's like shit, and it's like, to me, I was like, hey, I was on a year of celibacy, so like conscious celibacy. So, so I just spent that year to really just,
a year, no sex.
Yeah, nothing.
I think I got that going right now.
Yeah, I can. That's easy for me. But
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like people are always like, how come you don't have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to understand, it's like, I'm not just going to see someone to see someone.
Yeah.
It's got to be fucking, bring something to the table.
Yeah.
And if they don't, I'm busy working, and that's just going to get in the way.
Yeah, and I'm sure for you it's hard, I think because you're probably touring all the time, you'd have to find somebody that's okay with that, and and
I think it's mostly you need to find somebody that's also an artist, because if they work 9 to 5,
they'll understand.
And then they go, you going to go out again tonight? It's like, yeah, every night. That's what I do. I'm a comedian. If you got an artist and they have their own life, I think it's really hard to find someone in LA that has their own life.
I think in general, I mean, like a lot of people are codependent, I guess, but for me, I just think I'm weird, and like I really thrive in isolation. So. Are you
an only child?
No, I'm middle child of 3.
Weird. I'm an only child, so I can relate to that. Like people are like,
people think it's weird. Like,
you're gonna die alone. I'm like, how do you even know? You're just having this great life.
And also, what's so wrong with that? Like, like I think about like Beethoven or Michelangelo or just the greats in general. It's like they literally dedicated their entire existence to like a craft.
Yeah.
And nobody really does it. It's really hard to do that when you have distractions. I mean, Nikola Tesla said the same thing, that like romance is for poets and celibacy is for geniuses. Not to say that I'm a genius or anything, but meaning that like it requires everything of you, And I talk to my dad a lot because he lives with me half the time now, but he's always like, at first he'd be like, oh, Mija, you can't give up on love. It's like, it's not giving up on love. I just think I know myself, and I mean, you see my house is obscure and it's cool and stuff, but it's a one-player game, dude. Like,
oh yeah, like I love this stuff.
Yeah,
it's fucking
but
great.
Most people,
because I'm so into like Mark Ryden.
Yeah,
I'm into like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like
the darker stuff.
Yeah, most people come in and be like, oh,
But I don't have like any electronics, for example. Like, there's no television. Like, I've got.
I don't have a TV either.
Yeah, like pianos, art shit. So it's like, if you don't like the exact same stuff, it could be quite boring for people,
Yeah.
And
is that what runs into the problem with dudes? Like, you've dated some guys that... Like,
my problem is in the past. I mean, I haven't had a boyfriend in a long time, but like, the people I choose are wrong for me or maybe anybody else. I don't know. I've gone to therapy for it to try to figure that out. But like I'm really good at drawing and stuff, but I suck at like choosing.
Do you think you choose them because you don't want it to last?
No, I think that I have like mom issues probably.
Oh, yeah.
Like my mom and I have never had a great relationship, and so I think at the time when I was open to dating, I was like I would find myself attracted to, because like it's weird if you take the boyfriends I've had since I was sober, because I think when I got sober is when I'm actually like a human being. Prior to that, I was a mess, and so I don't even count those.
Right.
But I've had 4 relationships, and
Nikki 6, he was sober.
yeah, and but so so I've had four relationships, and if you put all these guys in a room, like they have nothing in common. They don't even look the same. I don't have a type, but I think maybe the main common denominator would be a certain how do I say it without sounding terrible? There's something in me that feels like I have to like struggle to be loved,
Right.
like I find people that don't love me.
Right.
It's like I think they care for me, I think they're attracted to me maybe or something, but they don't love me, like not like the right way, so it's like I find myself doing all of the work. It's a very one-way street, and then I exhaust myself, I overextend myself for others, and then I resent them, and then I sacrifice the quality of my own life. So it's
I mean, if you look at those guys you've dated, that they've got massive egos, which
Yeah.
isn't a bad thing at all.
It's a bad thing for me. It
is a bad thing
because
for
I
you.
don't admire that. I have
Right.
a hard time with like, yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? They're very high profile people. They're in a world where everybody tells them they're great.
Yeah.
So they don't necessarily dish out you're great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
They're
I don't need
used
somebody
it's
to
a
pat
one-
me on the back, but it's
Right.
more like I've never. I just feel bad. I feel weird talking about it because I don't want to like talk crap about anybody, but because I have a part in all those relationships as well. But I've never found my like my brain's twin, like or something that was reciprocated and mutual, like I find the deep, profound joy in like supporting my friends and or anybody I care about, I like admiring the person I'm with and stuff, but it does hurt when it's not reciprocated.
Yeah, right.
And then you're kind of just like, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I think for me too, it's like looking back at relationships, I get the most frustrated, not at the person. I've been cheated on. I've been, like just gone through terrible shit that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, but I just get mad at like the time, like that
Yeah.
I've invested or I feel wasted to a certain degree. Like, oh, I could have fucking finished my album, or I could have
Yeah.
been doing, this stuff. So I think I kind of just understand myself as like what my limits are and like what my weaknesses are, and then I just don't fuck around with that. Like I operate best alone, and like I think I do my greatest works when I'm on my own. And I think in the past I used to require heartbreak to write a song, and now I'm not inspired by heartbreak.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
It's better. It's like and I'm growing.
Yeah.
Like
So no dating at all?
no, and it's not to say that I'm like not necessarily open to it, but I just like, dude, I don't know what it is to fuck. Like, I know people do it. I don't judge people, and tons of my friends do it. They're on like Tinder and all these other sex apps and shit. I just don't know how to do that, and I don't want to know. Like, so
Right.
I just know how to be like dedicated to one person long term, and so I think that's like a lot to ask. Like for somebody like me, like to give that time.
Yeah, you sound like my soulmate.
I know, but like the stay-at-home club is like the club that doesn't have an actual meeting. That's the problem. It's like, oh, if I find somebody that's like-minded, then we'll just never see each other because So it's just I don't know.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, it's.
And I'm
just-
difficult, man. I don't know. I don't,
What sign are you?
I wouldn't. I'm Pisces, March 8th. I don't know shit about
A
astrology.
Pisces. That's my mom's Pisces.
Is that bad?
No, it's good for me.
Okay.
No, that's Pisces is a pretty mellow sign.
Yeah.
I'm Aquarius, so I'm into the signs, and people think they look at me like, really? You know what I
I just
mean?
don't know about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, like Aquarius is an absolute lunatic. Most of them are artists, and the Pisces is exactly the same, but a little bit more grounded. So
Yeah.
they're good together because I understand, you understand, and I understand you because we're both
Yeah.
into art and stuff. But you're a little more grounded, and
So it helps you talk you off the ledge. Yeah.
Yeah, and it helps. You know.
But I heard that Pisces are like, because it's the two fish, right? So like they go back and forth in their mind a lot. Like I'm in my mind all the time, and I get exhausted with myself. I can only imagine how exhausting it would be to, like, I feel like it would be a burden to impose myself as a relationship to somebody. Like it's a lot to deal with. Like,
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't ever sit and talk about funny shit, you know? Like, I think you and I talked about this a long time ago, but like, you know, like Van Halen is like a fun band.
Yep.
You know, like, or AC/DC, it's like fucking fun. Like, that's cool, but like, I'm in like Radiohead land. Like, I'm talking about like, I need to find like a lifeline because I don't know if life is like worth living, you know? And I mean, these are the kind of thoughts I have all the time.
Yep.
And so it's like, it never ends. It's not like there's a time where I am Van Halen. I wish I was sometimes, but then the other side, part of me says like, and it's good that I'm sensitive and it's good that I feel and that like, you know, I don't think I'd want to change that either. So I don't know, you know. Don't I sound crazy? I fucking sound crazy.
No, it doesn't sound crazy at all. I get it. I think that sometimes I'm Van Halen.
Yeah.
You know, it's like sometimes I feel like a nut, sometimes I don't. You know what I mean? But sometimes I'm Van Halen, and then other times I'm way Tom Waits.
Yeah.
Way big time. And then other times I'm Curtis Mayfield. And I
love Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah,
man.
me too, right? It's unbelievable. But my point is that all comes down to also not being boxed in
What
life.
do you mean?
You know what I mean? Like, I never want to be, like a lot of people listen to this podcast and they only grab one thing from it, and maybe it's just the rock and roll, which sometimes disappoints me because I think of the show as way multi-layered and way deeper than that.
Course.
And I think people just read surface. Oh, tattoos, a rock shirt.
Yeah.
He's rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But rock and roll to me is not just music. It's a way of life, in a way of like I said, not working a regular job, not fucking answering to somebody that, you know, you don't want to deal with. It's just experiencing life to the fullest.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
That's what I think. So I think sometimes if you get a little too into the Radiohead corner or whatever, let's just say that.
I mean, and I hate to use that as an example because
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Though. That type of deep music, you know. But you'll sometimes you miss some of the fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, all the time. I mean, I have a hard time having fun. Like that's another thing. It's like things that don't necessarily affect people, like affect me really deeply. Like a billboard, sometimes like a message in a billboard, like I'll resent humanity. Like just like, you know, whether it's like a sexist message or something, or cruelty to animals or something, you know, like I don't see the world, I guess, the way that most people do in order to function well. Like I don't. And so I end up like being isolated in here. And I remember my dad even saying to me, you know, Kathy, this is such a beautiful house, you know, like everywhere you look, it's a beautiful Instagram shot, you know, it's just like paintings everywhere and all this stuff. But it's only beautiful because you're stuck in here. It's like I'm in this little jewelry box, you know?
Right.
And so about 3 years ago, I decided to disappear. I read that book, How to Disappear Completely and Never Be Found Again. It was like written in the 80s. Have you read it? It's a good read.
No.
I highly recommend it. It's like you can read it in one day. It's like a paperback, really, really thin. But and it was also written in the 80s, so it's not like some of the information isn't valid now because we have the internet, and so it's a little bit actually harder to disappear nowadays.
Right.
But it's cool because it talks about the psychology. You know, like there's like different top reasons why people disappear, and it's a hard thing to study because the people who have been successful at it, it's not like they can get interviewed, you know. But they were saying that like 90 or something % of the people that try to disappear fail in the first 13 days.
Wow.
And end up coming back, and it's because they do it like it's emotionally driven. Like they just hate their life, and then when they're like, fuck it, I'm out of here, you know, and then they don't plan it out.
Yeah.
So they said the best disappearing like acts take a couple years of planning and doing, you know, tying up all loose ends. And so I was doing that. Like,
no shit.
Yeah, I like looked for like land, like rural land in the middle of nowhere across the ocean, and I taught myself how to grow my own food. And that's when I started really studying like macrobiotic and like, you know, food that heals your body, like even to veterinary like levels for my cats. And then and so I found this old castle from the 1500s that was kind of in ruins, and I started building it and making it like solar panels and wind powered and geothermal, all that stuff.
You bought it?
Yeah, this
Whoa.
was a couple years. So I've been working on that. And so then
You still got it?
yeah, so my plan had been that like 2 Octobers ago, or it was right when my shop burned down.
Yeah.
That happened in October, and I was gonna leave in December, and I was about to give my shop to my guys. I was gonna I had recorded an album and I shelved that, and I basically was just shutting down, and I was like building a team to run everything like without me, and then took my money and put it into funds for my dad and different charities, and then just bounce,
Wow.
And I was gonna basically just like live off the grid, like no electricity, no internet, none of that stuff. Just take all my books and instruments, and then dedicate my life to art, and that's it, because I felt like the only redeeming quality of humanity was like art. It's like it's the one thing that we can bring to the table, and we live in a world where fucking people just constantly take and take and take and take. They're not producing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a part of it. So I just kept. So I had this mentality, and it was it was my light at the end of the tunnel, and then I I realized that there's so many things that are going wrong in the world today here,
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like the animal stuff, and I realized that I have of no service to those injustices, the social injustices that are happening if I disappear. And so I decided to stay.
Wow.
So I'm still building the castle, and one day I can go and visit, or maybe go there and unplug for a minute. But
I dream of that all the time.
yeah, people dream about it, but I was actually like literally doing, and they're like, well, my dad was worried, he's like, well, are you gonna be alone? And it's like, yeah, it's fine,
Yeah.
but you're gonna be alone forever. It's like, yeah, that's cool, And my architect that I've been working, they're like this team of she's a contractor, but she specializes in whatever small footprint type
Yeah.
construction, like eco-friendly
Carbon
shit.
footprints.
Yeah. And she was like, I think she hates working with me to a certain degree, but she's like, I'm like, I just need one bathroom. She's like, but that's like the value of this castle is going to go down. You just have one bathroom. I'm like, it's only one person living here.
Yeah.
What am I going to need 10 fucking bathrooms for? And she's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm like, waste of space, man. Make that bathroom into like a sewing room or something,
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
To me, it's Todos Santos. It's bottom of the Baja, the other side of Cabo.
Well, you're talking surfer talk right now, huh?
Well,
I love it. Baja Santos.
Yeah, right. Todos Santos. But I mean, to me, it's like Malibu, but no one lives there.
Yeah.
And it's 4 miles of just beach with nothing, and just like an electric dirt bike,
Yeah.
and just riding around and eating lobster
Yeah.
and just being. I say it all the time, and then someone said to me just yesterday, said, "Yeah, but you'd be bored in a
No
month."
way. I think my biggest fear in life is that I'm never going to do everything I want to do by the time I die. Boredom, I don't understand that idea.
Yeah. I don't understand boredom, but I'm so addicted to stand up that I wouldn't be able to do it.
I don't think it is for everybody. That's the thing.
If I wasn't a comedian,
Yeah.
I wouldn't live here because it's like the grind is brutal and it just wears off on
I don't know. People say that shit about LA and New York or San Francisco, they talk, a lot of people talk shit about it, but I think there's really no difference between here and Kentucky. It's all like these small social circles. High school, I dropped out of high school. I went to 2 weeks of my freshman year, but I remember having such a clear understanding of what high school was.
Yeah.
It was just giving you a little insider look into it's like a magnified version of what you're going to do in a cubicle or in a tattoo shop. I mean,
Yeah.
It's all social circles. It's how you deal with people, the grading system, all that stuff. It's really all the same. What pop stars do is no different really than somebody that works as a secretary at some boring office.
I'm more talking about not the grind of this town. I'm talking about just city life.
Oh,
I would just
the noise or something?
I was born in Yosemite.
Oh, yeah?
I could easily just go back to the
Sure.
mountains. I'm talking about that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Or Todos on the beach.
Yeah.
Like a bungalow,
Yeah.
small.
But there's intensity in nature too, man. You
Yeah.
know, that.
Oh, The Revenant.
Yeah,
The Revenant.
I haven't watched that, but
Oh my God.
I know everybody's seen it, but
You have not seen The Revenant.
haven't.
It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And you like art, and this
Yeah.
guy makes.
Well, I love Leonardo DiCaprio's like voice lately. I love all the documentaries he's really had a hand in, and his understanding of the environment is crucial. I admire that. Anybody who stands up for that stuff in a world where, we have a corrupt government.
It's so radical, the film. Just, I often think about it, like I do a bit about how there's no men anymore.
Yeah.
Like I feel sorry for the women out there, like when the zombies come,
Yeah.
And
what is that with the zombie thing? Can I ask about that? Like, people are always like, all the zombie movies and shit, there's like this will to survive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, if that shit was happening, I would just
give in.
I'd rather just off myself with my cats, Like,
Yeah.
like who wants to survive that? Like, then you're gonna be left with like 2 people surviving, and then you have to just go through and try it. Like, fuck that. Just like,
I think to me,
just go down
there's
with
extremes to me. Like
Yeah.
Road Warrior, to me, I'm a weirdo and a lunatic in my mind.
Yeah.
And, I push it way down. But to me, I look at like Road Warrior as like, all right, we're going to fucking battle till death, in a war style of like weird war, not like world wars and that stuff,
Yeah.
but like no man's land.
yeah, but like the winner, what does the winner get? Like,
Well, I think
fucking
it's
shit.
Yeah, you don't get shit. You get a planet that's done and everything.
Yeah, and you got to clean up all this mess. Like,
but it's
fuck
also
that.
kind of it's a survival thing, I think, of like, all right, let's see if I can fucking live this out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty insane, I think. I always fantasize about Road Warrior,
Yeah.
the original
Sure.
ones,
Yeah.
It's just a guy in a muscle car fighting for gas,
Yeah.
and his dog. And you're just like, that's pretty much all you need, a muscle car and a dog. He's already made it.
Yeah. Have you seen this movie called The Wall? Not the Pink Floyd thing.
No.
I think it's German or Austrian or something, but I don't know. I'm not gonna even try to say The Wall in German, but
Right.
I think it's on Netflix. But I love that fucking movie, and it's about this lady who goes on a camping trip, and she's got a dog, but then this weird like wall of, it's not glass, but she just can't like leave the certain perimeter, and she basically has to learn how to fucking figure it out, and she's got her and her dog.
Wow.
And it's like, to me, I haven't related to a movie in a long time as much as I related to that.
Wow, I have to see that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
I love documentaries.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just get way into them because it's always something that's like, wow.
Yeah.
You can't even, it's always something extreme too, right? Like the documentary, like,
it depends on what kind of documentary it is. I mean, like the minimalist one, that's
that one's
great.
I think it could have been even more radical. They had a couple guys that were basically, there's this thing where I think it's called 30-33.
Yeah.
You wear
They talk about it in
33
the
items.
documentary, right?
Yeah, 33 items for the rest of your life
Yeah.
for 30 days. And I kind of get into that.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
love
mean?
patterns. That's like my thing.
Like the ultimate boots. This guy just made me these boots,
Yeah.
and I'm like, all right, here I got the boots.
Forever, yeah.
But I always feel like I'm looking for the ultimate thing. Probably the ultimate woman, the
Yeah.
ultimate motorcycle, the ultimate jacket.
Well, why shouldn't you though? I mean, I think one thing that I loved about that minimalist documentary was, what I took from it wasn't that saying that you should deprive yourself of earthly belongings, but perhaps just invest in the good stuff. Like I've always seen like my dad will disagree with me on that, but it's because we grew up super poor. But like, where save a buck and do this. Where I think I'd rather pay top dollar for one thing and not have to fix it and not have to buy more versions. Like especially in the fashion world, like man, it's like fast fashion is fucking gonna be the end of us.
It's garbage.
It's all garbage and it's disposable. And then it's like I'd rather just buy something that's handmade or that's like
I'm the same way.
Withstand the test.
I only
of
buy
time.
handmade shit, and people go like, "Wow, you spent $3,000 on that jacket." It's like, look at it; it fits perfect. No one has it, and you love you.
And
You've already
last
come.
forever.
It's gonna last forever.
Yeah.
Like Agatha. I used to get stuff
Yeah.
from her. I said to you, and it's
Yeah.
like. You just look at it like, this stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
This kid made these boots. He's 24 years old.
That's
I can't
so cool.
even believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty wild world out there.
Yeah.
You're now. Why are you moving from here? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So my dad is a contractor, and so I I got this real estate lady who's awesome, and she basically just kind of lets me know whenever there's anything on the market that's weird, like
Yeah.
just weird houses. And this one house came up on the market, and it's an old Victorian house that was built in 1890, and it was originally built in downtown LA, and by Isaac Newton Van Nuys.
Right.
He's like the dude who invented Van Nuys, the city.
Wow.
And then he moved it to Hancock Park.
He moved the whole house.
Yeah, the whole house.
On what? Do you got any pictures of
Yeah,
that?
well, I don't have pictures of the move. I don't know. We might have that, but we found an archive of like the plans that they had for moving it. I'm like, I don't even know how you fucking move a house, but they did, and so it's really cool. It's got little secret rooms and stuff, but it's not like, I mean, it's awesome, but it needs so much work.
Wow.
I mean, like, yeah.
So you saw that and you were like,
Well, I just saw that as like a thing. It's really just it's like a thing that my dad can work on, and that we can just, it's a forever home. It's not
Right.
something I'm flipping and making money on. Like what I loved about it was that it, unlike this house, like it has a little bit of yard, like front yard and backyard, and so I want to be able to like adopt a bunch of animals and stuff.
I want a French bulldog.
You do? I
So
want to
bad.
adopt farm animals like that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that have been rescued from like farm factories and shit like that. So
Did you sell this place or are you selling it?
once I move,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw that guest house in the back. That's
Yeah.
what I'm always looking for.
Yeah.
That's all. I always dream. Like I had the ultimate guest house for 13
Yeah.
years, and then I lost it. And I say the only way
You mean
get,
you lived in it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
lived in it for 13 years.
Yeah.
And then the owner's daughter got pregnant and they moved her in and I lost my place. And I think I've had a mild depression over the last year of not living in this spot because
Yeah.
it was such my ground zero. As a matter of fact, it's over by the 101.
Mm-hmm.
When I go and eat at the 101, my whole mindset changes. Like
Yeah.
I get over there and it's almost like the planet is aligned right there for me, and I go into this neighborhood and I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be,
Yeah.
And I'm always looking to move back there somehow,
Yeah.
but it's so hard. Like like that guest house back there. This neighborhood's perfect for me because I could just walk.
Yeah, yeah.
All comedy, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
totally.
And I love walking since I've been in New York a
Yeah.
lot lately. I
Yeah.
get into out walking.
Yeah, walking's nice.
It is good, man, because you're just like, all right, I don't have to fuck around with a car or
Yeah.
motorcycle. I got ran over a year ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was a wake up,
We didn't talk about that, huh? Like
No.
back then?
Somebody ran me, some woman carjacked a car and ran me over doing 70 down on the highway.
Did she stop?
Nope. She got away, and I'm
She's got to live with that, though.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what I think about. She stole a car and ran me over. So
Oh,
she's
man.
like, not.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
But like it's awesome that you're okay. And then and it sucks that I look at those situations and I go, fuck, man, what kind of desperation are you in that you felt the need to like steal a car, let alone
Yeah.
like plow through somebody on accident? Because I'm sure she wasn't trying to do that, right? I mean,
Well, I think she was just apparently tweaking
Oh, yeah.
and thinking somebody was after her. You know what I mean? So there it gets down to my favorite drug fucking backfired on someone else.
was that your drug of choice?
Well, I love Coke or
See, I never graduated. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I never graduated.
well, I just like anything that kind of keeps you going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never was into downers.
Yeah.
I never got into pills
Yeah.
or heroin. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To me, it was like, ugh. Like
yeah, but did you ever get into crack and shit like that?
Nope, never
See?
got into crack. I smoked it, but it didn't grab me.
Y'all didn't get into it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I wasn't a guy like, all right, this is the end. I'd
Yeah.
smoke it, and the next day you feel so hell. I don't know how you get back on it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, man, get that out of here. Crack is weird because you never smoked it, but for me, and I know other people, when you do smoke it, you can hold the smoke in as long as you can, and you won't be high.
Yeah.
And the second you blow it out, it's like, whoa. It's like liftoff. I've never seen anything like it, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking.
So, like, you can understand why people, like, is it that bad? Because, I always thought about, like, stuff like heroin or crack or whatever. It's like, people really, like, gamble their whole lives for it. Like,
throw it all away.
it must be really great. It must feel great at one point.
Yeah.
Enough to do that, I guess, Whereas, like, to me, Coke was, like, it was, like, maybe, I don't know. It was never actually really that awesome to me. But, like, I couldn't see, like, me, like, I wouldn't give shit up for it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I don't think it's the drug.
Yeah.
I think it's the personality of the human.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to have a physical addiction, like with heroin, and that you're going to have the come down and stuff. But I think that the person was already fucked. If it wasn't coke or heroin or crack, it would be food or shopping or hoarding or anything. It's an addiction, and I definitely have an addictive personality. And now I know how to completely control it. You know, I mean, I always have. Like I said, if something's bad, it's out of here.
Yeah.
You know, but it's definitely I'll ride it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
For sure. Cool.
Do you still enjoy tattooing?
Yeah, I do a lot. I've been fucking so busy traveling lately. I started resenting my makeup line just a little bit. I love it.
You got a makeup line through Sephora.
Well, I sell through Sephora in the States, but my deal is not with Sephora. But yeah, it's you know, I think a lot of people who have makeup lines are not as involved as I am.
Right.
Like I literally draw every graphic that you see on the boxes and like testing the formulas, coming up with the art direction, doing the photo shoots, doing like the social media shit, like all that stuff. And then, you know, and then having to promote it on the road. So it's like, I think most people probably just put their name on something and let like a team do it, you know? Of course. And, I just don't know how to do that. Like I would never feel good about that, especially
Well, you don't want to have something garbage with your name on it because then it dilutes your brand.
I don't want to, it's not even about the brand. It's just more like, what's the point of doing anything if I'm not going to do it 110%? You know what I mean? Like I derive my joy from like being creatively like evolving, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, lately it's, you know, we've been going global and launching internationally. So it's just taken so much time. And I keep saying, oh, we just have one more launch, you know, and then I'll be able to come back home and do all this other stuff. But so I get to tattoo when I'm home. Like this week, I'm excited because I get to go into the shop and tattoo, and then in between that, work on music and stuff and other projects that I'm working on. And so, until I have to go on the road again. So
when you tattoo, the money can't even be anything now, right? Because there's the money has to come somewhere else. It's the makeup line. What is the book?
I haven't charged for tattoos in years. I can't remember the last time I charged for a tattoo. Maybe when I was filming LA Ink.
Is that right? You don't charge for tattoos?
Mm-mm.
Fuck, I got to get one for you.
Yeah, that was like I made a pact with myself. Like when I first got into tattooing and I got into my first shop. Started tattooing professionally when I was 16. And I just remember going like, this is awesome. The only thing I don't like about it is at the end,
the business,
the exchange of money. Cause it always made me feel like a stripper. I always felt like I was like on my knees going like, thanks, you know, picking up $1 bills. And I feel like, I think I would make a terrible painter. Like if I was a painter for a living, like, cause I've never sold a painting before. Like I've only given them away if I want to, or I just archive them, you know, but I don't feel like, not that I don't feel worthy, but it's more just like, it's the art, the act of the creating. That's the purpose. And then if I can have other means to like survive or whatever, that's cool. And so I was like, I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to be a great tattooer. And I used to be like booked, you know, 6 months in advance doing five tattoos a day, you know, and rolling in dough. And it's just like, all right, cool. Now that I have this makeup line and stuff and the other things that I'm doing that, you know, can pay the bills, then why do I need to charge for tattooing? And then I can keep it more sacred, I guess.
Well, how does somebody get a tattoo from you? Then do they write a note like?
I used to take like appointments online where you could like you go to the website to my shop and request a tattoo, but I got so behind on that, and then when the shop burned down, like my computers melted, so I like lost all of those people who.
In line.
Yeah, and there's nothing I could do about it. And so, because we used to just print everything out and put it into a file, and so now I just kind of put on hold because I have so many like tattoos I've started that I need to finish, and then I tattoo like my friends and then their friends and referrals and things like that. And then when I get caught up, I can start taking appointments again, But if you want to get tattooed, you just text me.
But how do you get a free tattoo from a regular person?
Well,
Do they say like it's always been a dream to get a tattoo from you, or do you charge a regular person?
No, I don't charge. I don't charge for tattoos at all.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I love you for it, but also I'm like, hey, man. You know?
No, but I mean, I think the challenge right now is that I have to catch up with the tattoos that I already have booked. Yeah, and then I'll start taking appointments again eventually. I don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully maybe this next year or something. I don't know.
I want the Grateful Dead steal your face.
Okay.
Would you do it?
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
You tattooed my buddy
Who?
years ago. Remember I brought him in, that guy Fridge. You did his wife.
Yeah.
He passed a couple weeks ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah, total bummer.
How? Why? He was young as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. He had some kind of, he went in for surgery. I don't know the story yet, but then there was complications and he passed, which is such a bummer. But
wow.
I just remember you did his wife on his arm. And,
yeah. I remember every single tattoo I've done.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I remember.
How many have you done? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, fucking
thousands.
Yeah. I mean, I did. Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Right.
Yeah. I set the Guinness Book World Records of.
I remember that. Yeah.
I did like 400 in one day. Yeah.
That's so.
But yeah, no. But I'll remember tattoos more than I will remember people. Like I mean, not always. A lot of times.
Right.
I mean, I have a really great memory, but
I love the Angus you did on Scott Ian.
Yeah.
That was great.
Awesome. Yeah.
Were you pretty surprised how big the show blew up? I mean, I was.
LA Ink?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, wow, this thing's a phenomena, you know? That era of TV is chopper building and tattooing, and then Job, like Job ones like crab fishermen and all that shit. That era of TV was really bizarre, right? People just grabbed on to like normalcy, not normalcy as far as like tattooing's not normal,
but it's a trade.
Yeah, it was a trade, and they were really into that stuff. Were you surprised?
I guess I haven't thought about that stuff in a long time. I don't know. There's so many jokes actually in comedy of people talking shit about people who say they don't have a TV, but I literally don't have a TV.
Yeah.
So I at the time I could tell what was like a hit and stuff based off of what people would say or billboards and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised that people took an interest in tattooing because I think when you're in it, you just see it as something very normal. And then, but when somebody that doesn't know the world gets like a little insider's view, they kind of are fascinated, which that makes sense to me. What I loved the most about our show in the beginning, of course, because the format changed, and that's why I stopped doing the show, is because I wasn't happy with the new format, where they focused more on like drama versus the art.
Like reality show stuff.
Yeah, in the beginning it was a docuseries and it was really great, and there was a format, and it's like the client walks in, gets a tattoo, and you learn the story behind the tattoo, and it humanizes tattoo. Like tattooing is kind of like the vessel that carries the story, so it was almost secondary,
Yep.
I mean, it opened up so many people's minds to seeing it as an art form, as a way of healing, as a way of self-expression, which is really cool. I think for me, because I, was doing a lot of portraits, like the death conversation was a constant thing for me, and which I have no problem talking about death. A lot of people feel uncomfortable,
Yep.
But there's just so many people out there hurting, and not enough people like listening. I think it's still the same now. It's like I look at people, I stare at people, and they're walking by, or if I'm at an intersection and they're walking the crosswalk, and I sense pain, It's like, I mean, I have my own pains too, and it's like I just look at everybody like it's like a bunch of wounded soldiers walking around.
Yeah,
and you never really.
Well, the city's got that. People come here
people
thinking.
In general,
people think. I think in this city, though, think they come here and the city owes them something. I'm going to come here and be a star, and then it doesn't happen.
I think. I mean, again, I don't think it's only here. I think that America, unfortunately, has like adopted a sense of self-entitlement in general, which I don't agree with. I think that
it's the Kardashian effect.
Maybe, I don't know. I hate the fact that I even know that fucking name, But yeah, I don't know. It's just I think that there's kind of like we're lacking empathy, not just for people, but for like animals and for Mother Nature and all that shit. It's like we're so wrapped up in our phones, and I'm gonna sound like everybody's dad, I guess, or parents, but it's just we kind of forget to like look at each other in the way that we're supposed to look at each other. Yeah. Like I think about like how people, if they get cremated and shit, like
yeah.
sometimes people carry like those, what are they called?
The urn?
Yeah, urn. I'm all about vase, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll put it on a fireplace or something, and it means something to them, you know, even though it's just ashes and like the soul's not there, but it's that symbol, right? And like, what if you take those ashes and you sprinkle them in the ocean or wherever, or maybe your grandma wanted to be buried.
I want mine thrown off Half Dome. You know what I mean? So my friends have to hike all day. I'm fucking them, you know. They'll be like, fuck that, I'm not doing that.
But I think like my whole point to that thought, I don't even know why I brought it up right now, probably because I'm just looking at the wind blowing in the trees. But like if we all had that experience, you know, of like releasing ashes of a loved one into like the world somewhere, then like we would be more conscious of how we stepped on the planet, you know, like how we treated our waters, how we, you know, how our diet affects the environment, you know, like all that stuff. Like you would realize like the oneness, you know, it's like some people call it God, some people, I call it Mother Nature, you know, whatever. And it's like it's like you hurt this, but you're hurting yourself, you know, and like you fucking road rage and flip someone off, you're just doing it to yourself, you know, because that person carries that, or you know, a tweaker runs you over, and she's got demons, but now you're fucking left with that, you know. It's like you keep fucking doing that, you know. We keep doing that. I don't want to do that anymore, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy out there.
See, I told you how heavy I am.
I like it though. I like that.
We can talk about funny shit now.
No, but I enjoy a deep conversation. I think it's so fucking hard to find these days a great conversation. People are just like, oh, check this out. I was on TV yesterday, and you know what I mean?
Oh, you hang out with fancy people then.
No, I don't, but you know what I mean. Shut up. Look, I love you, man. Hilarious. You know, one thing, I've been getting tattooed all my life, and I got tattooed by all the old school guys.
Yeah.
Henry Goldfield, Bill Salmon, of course, these San Francisco legends, Lyle Tuttle, all these guys in San Fran really were the ground zero of tattooing. And recently when I moved, I kept all my, Goldfield used to do these beautiful receipts when you would get a tattoo.
Oh, cool, like a certificate?
I got them all.
Oh, cool.
And they would say which one it is. Like, you know, it'd be like, you know, Sailor Lady.
Yeah.
$25 deposit, $75 total. And I think about those 80s when, you know, to me, really tattooing started with Bon Scott. Mm-hmm. He came out, he had the fucking parrot and shit. I was like, whoa. I remember I was in...
Oh, you mean for you, for me, your experience with being introduced to tattooing?
I see this guy on
and you're like,
stage.
Whoa.
Nobody had tattoos in the 70s, you know.
Unless you're like Hell's Angels or something.
Right. It was Bon Scott. And he come out, his vest didn't fit, his fucking nuts are crammed in his pants, he's out there, and you know what I mean? And he's just murdering.
That was, by the way, that was my first AC/DC tattoo I ever did, was a portrait of him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I got the Bon Scott, remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, Nico.
I love that.
But it's amazing to think about. To me, it really becomes, immediately I go, I got to get tattooed. I worship this guy. I don't know who he is, but he's fucking destroying the 60,000 people audience, you know? And then it really hits the next level with Motley Crue. I'm like, oh my God. They go to Japan. They get them all done with sticks. Yeah. And then GNR really blows it the fuck open. Well, I don't think anybody's more could take credit for tattooing as GNR and Motley Crue, because they were just everywhere. But my point is, it's funny to think back then, it was... when I got a tattoo, my mom was like, well, you're never going to work a real job ever. You're done.
Remember those days?
Remember that? And now I don't even have enough tattoos to work at Chipotle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But it really was something back then.
Or people at Whole Foods. How come there's so many cute girls?
What's up with that?
Like all those cute, like stylish girls that work at Whole Foods with like full sleeves. I'm like, you're so cool. Like, what do you... Like, I want to work here.
Yeah, it's wild, right? I mean, my mom was really fucking worried. Like, she's like, you know, if music doesn't work out, you're not going to get a real job. And I go, I'm not going to get one anyway. Even if music
have you met me?
Yeah. But it's crazy to think about how cheap it was back then. These guys.
But it wasn't, though, because if you think about it, like $25 in that time
in the 80s
was way more. That's like, I feel like now $100 is like the $20 or something. You know what I mean? It's like cost of living is higher. Like, you know,
but I mean, now guys are charging what, $200 an hour? I remember it was 100 an hour.
I don't know.
Right. I remember it was 100 an hour for a little bit. I was like, wow, 100 an hour, man. Just think, to me, it's a lot like Evel Knievel compared to the X Games. These early tattooer guys who are old now, and maybe their hands are all fucked up and they don't have any retirement or anything. They miss that big money. Like the X Games, a guy makes $1 million to do a jump with a monster drink on his side, you know? It's crazy to think the ground zero of these guys, you know, that they weren't in the money world now. The money world now is crazy, you know, especially like when you were doing it with the TV and everybody. Even now, that show, what is it, Ink Wars or whatever?
I don't know.
I don't either.
But I don't know. I mean, I think like tattooers back in the day, they were, you know, like think about it, like tattooing survived the Depression, you know, and during that time I mean, I wasn't around, I wasn't there, but from what I read, it's like, you know, sailors were still getting tattooed, like they were still making money, you know. I think that like there's a carny aspect to it, and like
definitely.
Like I think that I think tattooers have always been set pretty well, you know, or good tattooers at least, you know.
Tattooers are a lot like, to me, like rock and roll. Like they don't want a regular job. Like any of these people could probably do some serious art for corporations and stuff. You know what I mean?
Some of those guys do.
Some of them do.
Some of them have been more successful at branding themselves too and doing things outside. I feel like now a lot of tattooers are, you know, creating their own supply companies and. I mean, machine builders have been around for a while. There's some tattooers that make more money off machines that they make versus the tattoos they do. So I think, there's all kinds of facets to it, you know. But yeah, I think whatever makes you happy, whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Comedians too, though, right? I mean, think about, like, now I feel like, just even with Netflix, like, I feel like so many people are getting, like, specials or whatever, or people are really treating, not to say that they weren't treating it like that back then, but now I think, like, people really see comedy as like a thing to do, you know, like
an art form.
Yeah, and people are like subscribing to it as fans, you know, and like more so than ever. I mean, I feel like there's you guys fucking got merch now. Like, you know what I mean?
It's true.
It's crazy. True. Like, so I think it's awesome. I just think it's like you guys have just been waiting for people to catch up.
Well, comedy, I think, comes around when there's bad times. It was huge in the 80s during the Reagan era, you know, bad economy and bad, you know, political climate. And now here it is again, you know, and people need to laugh, and they need to laugh more than ever. I do get a little worried about all the specials. There's something like 125 specials coming out. You can't keep up, so you really need to think outside the box. To me, I want to do
it. Yeah, but you know what, though? Oversaturation, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Oversaturation happens all the time.
Absolutely. With tattooing,
the same
that's
thing.
what I was saying.
And so it's like...
The chopper shows.
Yeah, if anything, it just pushes you to, as an artist or as a comedian, to like... create great content and like that,
or original content.
Yeah, which is great content.
That's what I want to do. I want to do a documentary / comedy special.
Oh, cool.
So you find out about my life.
Yeah.
While you're watching my bits.
Yeah.
Like the song remains the same.
Yeah.
You know, you see those fantasy scenes? Yeah. Instead of fantasy scenes, it's just parts of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
I keep saying I'm going to do it. People are going to go, like, make it. Yeah, but I want the jokes to be perfect. I already lived the life, you know?
Yeah.
You like comedy?
I do.
Who do you like?
I don't know. I'm not good at name dropping.
Yeah, I got you.
But hey, you know what? I have a question about comedy.
Yeah.
I've noticed lately that there's more Mexican comedians. Not in America. I'm talking about like Spanish speaking in Mexico.
Yeah, you're now you're Mexican, right? You're Hispanic and
born
German.
In Mexico. I was born in Mexico, but my family's from Argentina, from South America. But like I tripped out. Like I mean they're literally doing what you guys are doing in America, but like in Mexico, like the jokes are about Mexican like culture, like.
Well, yeah, that's funny you say that,
like they're talking about like certain trains that are in TJ or whatever, or in Mexico City. Like the only Mexicans are gonna get it, you know.
Let's talk a little bit about your music. You shelved your record. I've been waiting to hear your music forever.
I was thinking about. So now I'm like, I do want to release it, and so like I said, I had shelved it 3 years ago. So it's.
You did it with what, Danny Lohner?
I started it with Danny, but I ended up going with this producer in London named Adam Noble, who's so dope. He did like not the last Placebo record, but the one before, which I absolutely love, the Loud Like Love album. And then like Alan Mulder mixed it and shit, and like Dave Grohl played all the live drums on it. And
wow. And what kind of music is it?
I don't know how to
It's
describe
like
it.
Mazzy Star. That's what I
No.
think. When I think of your music, I think of like,
Well, I always post like little piano clips and stuff
Right.
just because I want to get people to play instruments. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, if I can do it, you can do it. But no, I mean, I love like I don't know if I can compare it to anything because I feel like I'd be flattering myself. But it's a lot of sad love songs. There's there's an electronic element to it, but not like fucking, it's like more like
Right.
Depeche Mode style
Right,
stuff. And so, so yeah, like, I like The Cure a lot.
Oh, hell
So it's
yeah.
just like a bunch of sad love songs. And, but so anyways, I want to write like maybe like 2 or 3 more and then release it and go on tour and stuff. So,
How many songs?
we mixed and mastered 11 songs that are done already. And so I think I want to add 2 or 3 more.
You got a name for the record?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's called Satellite.
Satellite?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're going to go on tour?
Yeah, that's the goal. I've been wanting to play all these songs live, I haven't
Right.
been able to share them yet,
Yeah,
And, yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
Maybe I'll open for you. It's
Yeah.
comedy.
Yeah.
Just out there doing comedy.
I know. I'm like, you'd have to get some goth jokes in there or something. I'm sure that's a lot of good
I do a
content.
lot of stuff about music.
Yeah, I know you
And
do.
sometimes the audience are just stone faced, and I realize that these assholes don't love music like I do.
Yeah.
But when it's really my crowd,
Yeah.
they're fucking dying
get
on
it.
the bits. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then when it's not, I'm like, oh, it's going
Yeah.
to be a long night.
Yeah,
Because if I talk about cocaine
Yeah.
or rock music and I see the crowd like, oh, I go,
Yeah.
oh no.
I loved your bit about like riding motorcycles with your guy friends.
Oh yeah. That's a true story, man.
know.
It's so weird. People's
So fun.
homophobia.
Yeah.
I grew up in San Francisco, the Bay Area.
Yeah.
I don't understand homophobia at all.
Yeah.
And especially when you look like I do, people come up, they'll say homophobic stuff on the road, and you're like,
Yeah.
dude. You don't even know me. I
Yeah.
could be gay.
Yeah.
I could, or they'll say racist shit or
Yeah.
whatever. It's just mind-boggling
Yeah,
to me
yeah.
that people are in that.
People think I'm a lesbian all the time.
It's crazy. But you're a nothing. You don't.
I'm like asexual.
Yeah, you don't do anything.
No, I'm definitely.
You fizzled out.
No, I'm still attracted to people. I just, but I think it's my deep voice. I tend to sound like a dude sometimes.
It's so funny. Like all the guys. If you think about the guys you've dated, it's like really you don't know anything about her at all. The opposite of lesbian.
Yeah, I guess.
I thought it was interesting. This is just not a thing on who you dated, but you redid Nikki Sixx's tattoos on his arms, right? The sleeves, like you popped them back
I
up.
forgot. That was so long ago. Yeah, I did some.
It was so I never thought about. It was weird because I always liked how older people's tattoos looked.
Me too. I love that. Like I even say that to people. Like before women were getting a lot of tattoos, I would always get the comment, "What are you gonna do when you're 80?" And I'm just like, fuck, let's hope I don't live that long. And if I do, I'm going to be worried about shitting myself more than what my tattoos look like, you know? But I always think, like, I imagine myself older and I can't wait. Like, I'm not fucking with Botox I'm not against it. But for me, I'm like, I welcome my wrinkles and, like, I think I'll make a really cool looking old lady, like when my tattoos look blurry and like
look at Elvira, she's dope as hell.
Yeah, like I want to fucking be the grandmother, like, dude, she's seen some shit,
Yeah, like mine, I always loved what the crew's tattoos looked like later on in life.
Yeah.
It just looked like, those guys were out riding Harleys and
Yeah.
the sun beat on them and they've lived.
Yeah, like Lemmy, I remember, the first tattoo I did on him, he wanted me to redo his Ace of Spades tattoo, and I'm like, oh man, like it looks so good the way it is, but it made him happy, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's ultimately like the person wearing it, it's up to them, I remember I tattooed my first 82-year-old man. This was back in the day. He came in and it was the sweetest story ever because he had this heart, traditional sailor-looking heart with a banner and an arrow going through it, and it says Helen on it.
Wow.
And he came in, like just an 82-year-old man, and he's like, I just want to get this redone. And so I did it. I started tattooing and making it look all new. And I was asking him, like, who's Helen? And he's like, that's my wife. And I love her so much. And like, still married, still happy. And he just wants to, who knows how long, but it was the symbol of like, wow, like it's not a curse, and like,
Yeah.
there are some good examples of true love out there. And that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite person you tattoo rock star wise, Lemmy? I mean, come on, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, this time a year. I mean, Christmas Eve. I don't know. It was sad. This is like the first.
It's so brutal, right? I went to his birthday, and then
it's just weird because it's like I understand death and I understand what it is. So it's like, you know, we selfishly want the people that we love to live forever, but dude, I fucking miss him, you know. And I mean, every Christmas Eve, I always think of Lemmy when he was alive. You know, like more so than Christmas, I was always celebrating his birthday, and so I think this is like the first, you know, New Year's Eve, or I mean Christmas Eve without him, and it's a little, you know, it's a little tough.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. A crazy year. We just lost George Michaels, then Carrie Fisher today. It's crazy, man. Just, you know, I mean, people are like, oh, 2016, it was horrible. But these guys are all at the age where don't think 2017 is going to be any different if you're looking at classic rockers. You know what I mean? They're up there in the age of we're going to start losing them. It's going to be fucking crazy to look at a music landscape, especially a touring landscape and shit of...
I don't even want to think about it.
Right? It's insane, you know?
Yeah.
I think about like... all those guys are pretty fucking old, and I'm surprised a lot of them lived as long as they did because they burned it up really hard. Back in the 70s when you didn't think you were going to live forever, you're just doing tons of drugs. You're drinking, you're smoking. You're not exercising. Now rock stars are different. They're at the gym and
doing yoga and shit.
Yeah, like even Ozzy goes to the gym. You're like, Ozzy's at the gym. They're doing yoga. You know, they don't smoke. They're vegan and everything. It's a whole fucking different world. You know. It's so different. But I relate to it because I think once you get to a certain age, you're like, well, I kind of like living. Yeah. You know? How old are you? I mean, I know that's weird.
Oh, I don't care. I like my age. Or 33 or 34, one of those. I can't remember.
33 or 34. You're only 34? Well, it seems like...
wow, you look 80.
No. I think about how long I've known you is why I think. And I don't know, what has it been? Like, when did you date that guy? Is that a long... Like, so you've been sober 10 years?
It's almost 10 years, yeah.
So you're like, what, 25 when I met you?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
We go way back, man.
25.
Yeah.
Wow, you look amazing.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's wow. Yeah. I can't thank you enough for doing the show.
Yeah, man, thanks for coming over too.
Yeah, I got to see your place, and
to all your listeners out there, I just ask for forgiveness if I rambled on about shit.
No, fuck no. You were great, man. You were great. Will you take me to some great vegan restaurant?
Yeah, man. Crossroads is my favorite. You haven't been there?
Oh, yeah. My buddy was trying to go out yesterday or Christmas Eve.
They had reservations. I think they were booked, right?
Yeah. Will you take me?
Yeah, we got to.
You're so hard to get a hold of, though.
You have my number, just text me.
I know, but
is it when I'm traveling, it's tough, but when I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah. All right, cool. You'll take me.
Awesome.
I'm in on that. What do you eat? Like fake?
Dude, have you had well, you obviously haven't had the Impossible Burger.
No.
Just Google Google the Impossible Burger.
I'll try it.
Yeah, it's insane.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then what other ones do you like? Doomy?
To me, that's like party food.
Right. They got like Twinkies. They got fucking. They got a Big Mac.
Yeah, totally.
Sarah Silverman likes that one a lot.
Oh, yeah?
And I think it's good because they're open
in a long time.
Yeah, right. And then what about M Cafe?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Do you do Veggie Grill at all, or is that just?
I like Veggie Grill a lot. Yeah. Again, that's like partying food for me.
Yeah, it's like fast food, but vegan, right?
But it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I do a lot of vegan proteins, you know?
Yeah.
See, I'm getting there.
Cool, man. I love it. Hey, man, just even if it's just on your mind is like awesome. You know? Like, I mean, like years ago, people didn't even know what a vegan was, you know?
Right.
So it's kind of cool that like I see it everywhere now, you know?
Yeah, my buddy Neil Brennan is he's a comedian.
Oh yeah, he's
vegan.
Yeah, he
does a funny ass joke about it. I'm not gonna do the joke, but it is so fucking funny, man.
Totally.
And, you know, like one of my best friends, Jacob Dylan, and we toured together for a long time, and he's been vegan forever, you know?
Yeah.
Or vegetarian, whatever, you know. And it was funny because when I got the diabetes, all of a sudden I had to eat different.
Yeah.
And he goes, now welcome to my world. Remember when we were on the tour and you would just fucking be eating whatever, and I had to have salad number 7 million.
Yeah.
But now it's so much easier to tour as because you just go to a hipster spot in town.
Yeah.
There's going to be a vegan restaurant. There's going to be a record store. There's going to be a denim
Yeah.
shop, a tattoo shop.
Yep. But also too, I mean, the like ethnic foods, which I love, you know, like there's so much. They always have had vegan options. You know, Indian food, you're fucking set. You know?
Yeah.
Even
Love Indian
Mexican food is pretty easy too. You know.
Right.
But yeah. Cool,
Thank you
man.
so much for
Yeah,
doing the
dude,
show.
Anytime.
You come see me do comedy sometime?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
would love that.
All right.
Cool.
There she is right there, Kat Von D. Instagram's just Kat Von D, right?
It's at the Kat Von D, and it's not because I think I'm the shit. It's because somebody fucking took at Kat Von D.
It's
So
the worst, right? God, I hate that.
Yeah.
And then you got a Twitter,
I do. It's the same. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and then the shop. Stop by the shop.
Yeah.
There you got art in there and stuff they can buy.
Yeah.
And thanks,
whatever.
guys, for tuning in. Write a review and subscribe to the podcast. See you guys later. Happy New Year.